Hello guys, how are you today? So today I'll be explaining the math AMS quiz of term 2 week 7. Now before I start, I would just like to mention and ask if you guys could support our eCars team, okay? Our Instagram is goats_sisyas. We also have a website and a YouTube. You can access those from the Instagram. So it would really mean a lot if you guys supported us and our team. Okay? So aside from that, let us start by explaining. Given that x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0, which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? Okay? So let us look at this radical over here. Let me just take it and make it a bit bigger. 4xy to the power of 3 plus 16x squared y squared. Now, what's gonna happen is that we are gonna take out the common factors. So let's take this aside and let us take out the common factors. First of all, between 4 and 16, their common factor is 4. Between x and x squared, the common factor is x. And between y to the power of 3 and y to the power of 2, the common factor is y to the power of 2. So under the radical, we have 4xy squared, open the brackets. Here we're gonna have y plus 4x. Okay, so now let us take these outside of the radical. So we can take 4 outside of the radical, it's gonna become 2. X, we cannot take it outside of the radical, so it will remain inside. Y squared, we take it out, it will become y. So outside of the radical we have 2y, and inside we have x times y plus 4x. Now, usually they would like us to expand this, so it's gonna become 2y radical xy plus 4x squared. So if you go down, you are gonna find it over here, and this is gonna be our answer. Moving on to question number 2, they said, which of the following gives the exact value of tangent theta? Now, in this question, you have to think a bit about which triangles we are gonna use. Personally, what I would use is the big triangle in red and the smaller triangle in blue. Now, as you can notice, they both have a common angle, which is this angle over here. Okay? So if this is common and this is 90 and this is 90, that means what? In the blue triangle, this angle over here is the same as this theta over here. So this one and this one are the same. Okay, so I'll repeat again. I took the blue triangle and the red triangle, okay? I found that, okay, these two are a common angle. This is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. That means what is left is this angle and this angle. That means they are both the same. In other terms, if you find the tangent of this angle, you would have found the tangent of theta. So to find that, we just need to find this side over here that I will color in yellow. To find this side over here, very simply, we can apply Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared is c squared. But here we have the hypotenuse on the side, and we need to find another side. So it's gonna be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We have a squared, which is 8, plus b squared we need to find is equal to 10 squared. So move it to the other side. B squared is equal to 10 squared minus 8 squared. And then b squared is equal to 36, so b is equal to 6. So now we have the value of b over here, which is 6. So to find the value of tangent of this angle, we know based on SOHCAHTOA that tangent is opposite over adjacent. What's the opposite of this angle? It is 8 over the adjacent of this angle, which is 6. So 8 over 6 will give us 4 over 3. So the value of tangent theta is 4 over 3. Moving on to question number 3. Okay, this is a really nice question. The Grand Canyon is a popular hiking destination in the US. The Bright Angel Trail is open to hikers year-round. Most visitors hike it during peak season from May to October. A total of 184 days. During this period, about 400,000 people hike the trail. They need, on average, how many people hike the trail each day? Very simply, you're gonna take the total amount of people that hiked during this period, which is 400,000, and you are going to divide it by the number of days divided by 184. If you do it on your calculator, you will get an answer which is approximately 2174. But we are going to round it to the nearest tenth because I believe this is what they want. So if you rounded it to the nearest tenth, it is going to be 2170. So every day approximately 2170 hiked this trail, which is a big number. Okay, so the round trip along the Bright Angel Trail is about 21 kilometers. Hikers must complete the hike by sunset at 7 p.m. Alex estimates that he can hike up the trail at 2 kilometers per hour and an average at descent 3 kilometers per hour. These speeds take into consideration meal breaks and rest times. Using Alex's estimated speed, what's the latest time he can begin hiking so he finishes by 7 p.m.? So let us just draw the hill, just like an example of the hill. Okay, and we know that all in all, it is how much? It is 21 kilometers. Okay, so I believe what we do usually, or what they want us to do, is we are gonna separate them equally. So that means this is half of 21 and this is also half of 21. Half of 21 is 10.5. So this is 10.5 kilometers and this is 10.5 kilometers. Okay? Now the next step is that we know ascending it's 2 kilometers per hour. Descending it is 3 kilometers per hour. So very simply, to find how many hours he needs to ascend, we are going to take the distance, which is 10.5, and we are going to divide it by 2 kilometers per hour. So 10.5 divided by 2, we will get 5.25. So this is how many hours it takes him to ascend, versus descending. He said 3 kilometers per hour. So 10.5 divided by 3 kilometers per hour, we get 3.5 hours. Now we don't directly add them. We need to change them into minutes. So to change them into minutes, we're going to do 5.25 times 60 minutes, which is 315 minutes. And then 3.5 times 60 minutes, which is 210 minutes. Why did we make them into minutes? Because they were hours, so we multiplied by 60 to change them into minutes. Now we add 315 plus 210, and we will get 525. So this is what? This is the minutes it takes him to go along all of this. Now 525 minutes, let us change it into hours. It is 8.75 hours. But here there is a bit of confusion. We cannot have 0.75 hours, okay? And if we change it to minutes again by multiplying by 60, it's gonna be 525 minutes, which we don't really want. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna keep the whole number 8 as hours, and we're gonna take the 0.75 and change it to minutes. So 0.75 times 60, this will give us 45 minutes. So all of this to get what? That approximately it will take him 8 hours and 45 minutes. But he needs to finish by 7 p.m. So 7 p.m., let's go back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then 12, then 11, then 10, then 9, then 8, then 7. I'm just gonna do from 7 till 7. Okay? So he needs 8 hours and 45 minutes, okay, to hike the trail. And he needs to finish by 7 p.m. So let us go back 8 hours. 7 minus 1 hour, 6 minus 1 hour, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, 11. So we finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. He stops at 11, but does he start at 11 o'clock? No, he does not, because do not forget there is also 45 minutes. So it's actually 10 o'clock, but it is gonna be 60 minus 45 minutes because the difference between 10 and 11 is 60. So 60 minus 45 minutes, which will give us 15. So if he starts at 10:15 a.m., okay, then he would arrive exactly at 7 p.m. He would have finished the hiking trip. So at 15 a.m. Now, Alex wore a pedometer during his hike up the trail. His pedometer showed he walked 25,200 steps on the way up. Estimate Alex's average step length for the 10.5 kilometer ascent of the trail. Very simply, what you should know is the average step length, so I'm going to write average step length, ASL, is equal to the length or the distance of the trail divided by the number of steps. Okay, so they need it in centimeters. We are going to change this from kilometer to centimeter. To change from kilometer to centimeter, we multiply by 10 to the power of 5. So the distance is what? It is 10.5 times 10 to the power of 5 divided by the steps, which is 25,200. And if you put it on your calculator, 10.5 times 10 to the power of 5 divided by 25,200, you are gonna get approximately 41.7, and then round it again. They said to the nearest centimeter, it is gonna be 42 centimeters. Okay, that is it for question number 3. We move on to question number 4. So we move on to question number 4. The wildlife biologist Ana Martinez went on a year-long research expedition to study tropical birds in the Amazon rainforest, whatever. And she studied macaws. Normally, a macaw couple lays 2 eggs each breeding season. Typically, only one chick hatches successfully. That's a bit sad, but it's okay. For scarlet macaws, the first egg weighs approximately 85 grams and the second egg weighs approximately 120 grams. By approximately how many percent is the second egg heavier than the first? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the difference between 120 grams and 85 grams. So 120 minus 85 to see what's the difference in the grams. So 120 minus 85, it is going to be 35 grams. Okay, and we are going to take this difference and we are going to put it over the mass of the first egg, which is 85 grams. And we're going to multiply it by 100. So 35 over 85 times 100 is going to be approximately 41%. So the first egg is 41% heavier than the second egg is 41% heavier than the first egg. Okay, so we move on to part 2. Anna observes a colony of 8,000 macaws, 4,000 pairs at the beginning of each year. So each pair successfully raises 1 chick during the breeding season. So they are 8,000 macaws, but 4,000 pairs. And each pair successfully raises 1 chick. That means 4,000 chicks are raised. Okay, so they told us by the end of the year, 15% of all the birds will die due to natural causes. Okay, they need at the end of the first year how many macaws are there in the colony. So very simply, we know that in total, it is 8,000 macaws plus the 4,000 chicks that they are raising. So in total, there are 12,000 macaws, okay? But they told us by the end of the first year, 15% of all of the birds will die due to natural causes. So they need to know how many macaws are there in the colony. So we're gonna take the total that we have, which is 12,000, okay? And we are gonna multiply it by 1, okay? Minus the percentage of chicks lost. So 1 minus 15 over 100. Sorry. And we're just gonna put it on the calculator. 12,000 times 1 minus 15 over 100. And we are gonna get 102,000. Now this is the first way of doing it. Another way of doing it would be like this. We are gonna take the total or the initial number of macaws, which is 8,000 macaws. But this is a bit more tricky. Why? they said that each pair successfully raises one chick. So 8,000 is 100%, okay? But if they each raise one chick, okay, that's gonna be 4,000 chicks, as we said before, okay? And 4,000 chicks is what? 4,000 chicks is 50% of 8,000 chicks, so it's gonna be 100% plus 50%, which is then 150%. So the population from the original will increase by 50%, but instead of saying it will increase by 50%, we will just multiply it by 150%, which is 150 over 100. Okay? And then they said by the end of the first year, 15% of all the birds will die due to natural causes. So you could do this times 1 minus 15 over 100, okay? Or we could very simply do 1 minus 15 over 100 aside. If you do it on your calculator, 1 minus 15 over 100, you are going to be left with 0.85. Okay, so then we multiply this by 0.85. But here there is a slight trick, okay, that you have to keep these to the power of the number of years. So the number of chicks will increase with number of years, but the initial number of chicks is not going to be affected. It's always going to remain 8,000 macaws. But the number of chicks or macaws is going to increase by 150% every year, because apparently each pair successfully raises one chick during the breeding season, which happens every year. So it's going to stay like this per the number of years. It's going to keep on increasing like this number by the number of years. But then 15% of all the birds will die. So you could multiply it all by 1 minus 15 over 100, or very simply by 0.85 to the number of years n. Okay, I don't know if this was a bit confusing. In the next question, they ask us to solve it in this format. So again, I'm going to repeat what I explained. We need the number of macaws, P, after 5 years. We know that the initial number of macaws is 8,000 macaws. And we know that during the breeding season, their population will increase by 50%, so plus 50%. If this was originally 100%, then you add it 50%, it becomes 150 over 100, which is basically 150%. Okay? And then we are gonna multiply it by the number of chicks. Here they said 15% die. So if you want, we could multiply it by the number of chicks that survived instead of the number of chicks that died. Because they are looking for what? For the number of chicks that survive, or the total number of macaws. So it's going to be 150 divided by 100 times the number of chicks that survived. You can do it by 1 minus 15 over 100, or 100 minus 15. You are going to get 85%, which is 85 over 100, which is 0.85. But they said after how many years? After 5 years, so to the power of 5. So let us look for this equation. It's going to be this one, because 150 over 100 is 1.5. Moving on to question number 5, they said the given equation has roots x equals a and x equals b. They need us to find the value of a, b. Very simply, what we are going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 5 first of all. So let me just write it. 5x plus 3, x plus 4 is equal to 20. We're going to divide both sides by 5. So we are then going to get x plus 3 times x plus 4 is equal to 4. So let us multiply this, okay? If we multiply it, it's gonna be x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 4, okay? You are gonna move this to the other side, so it's gonna be x squared plus 7x plus 12 minus 4, which is 8. Now, they said, the given equation has roots x equals a and x equals b. They need to find the value of ab, or in other terms, they need to find the product. We know to find the product, okay, that the basic rule or the basic equation for sum and product is x squared minus sum x plus the product. So you can take directly the product to be 8, or very simply, you know that the product is c over a, so you're going to take c, which is 8, divided by a, which is 1, to get 8 as well. So the product of this one is 8. Moving on to question number 6. A train started from rest at 7 at 7 o'clock. The train accelerated for 5 minutes to reach a speed of v kilometers per hour. The train maintained the speed for 45 minutes, then decelerated for 10 minutes to reach a speed of 0 kilometers per hour. The distance traveled during the entire hour is 63 kilometers. They need us to find the speed time graph. The speed time graph below shows or displays the trip graphically. They need us to find the maximum speed attained during the trip. So how do we do this? So we know that our graph is a trapezoid, and we are given what? We are given the distance. And we know if we are dealing with a velocity time graph that the distance is the area. So if we find the area of the trapezoid, we would be able to find the height, okay? But here's something you should always pay attention to, is the unit. They need it in kilometers per hour, so we should not take the minutes. We should take it as hours, okay? So when we find the area of a trapezoid, it is 1 over 2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. And we know it is equal to 63 because this is given to us as the distance. Okay? So 1 over 2 is 1 over 2 times the height that we need to find times base 1 over here. Over here, which is 50 minus 5 minutes, which is 45 minutes, but we do not accept 45 minutes. We need to change it into hours. So to change from minutes to hours, we are going to divide by 60. So it's going to be 45 divided by 60, which is 0.75 hours. So times 0.75 plus the second base, which is from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock, which is 1 hour. Okay? It is all equal to 63. If we solve it, we will move this to the other side. We will get the height times 0.75 plus 1 is equal to 63 times 2, and 63 times 2 is then 126. Okay, and then we are going to divide 126 by the bases. So 0.75 plus 1 is 1.75. So the height is going to be 126 divided by the bases, which is 1.75, which will give us an answer of 72. So the maximum speed attained during the trip, which is the height, because we know that this height over here is the velocity v, or the speed, is going to be 72 kilometers per hour. Now they need the average acceleration of the train during the first 5 minutes, but they need it in kilometer per hour squared. So we are dealing with a velocity time graph. Velocity time graph, its slope or its gradient is what? It is the acceleration. So if you find the slope, you would have found the acceleration. We found the velocity to be 72, and we know that the time is how much? It is 5 minutes, but we cannot deal with 5 minutes. Actually, we need to change it into hours. So 5 minutes into hours, you divide it by 60. So 5 divided by 60, you get approximately 0.083 hours. Okay, so this is 0.083 hours. So to find now the acceleration, we are going to apply the slope rule, which is y minus y over x minus x. So we're going to take the first y, which is 72, and we are going to take its corresponding x, which is 0.083, minus the second y, which is 0, minus the second x, which is 0. So if you put it on your calculator, you are going to get an approximate answer of 864. Now here, look, pay attention. If you did 72 divided by 0.083 by itself, okay, you are going to get what? An answer of 867.5. Now, usually, this is gonna be considered incorrect. Why? Because you need to take it as the time itself, what it actually is. So what you are gonna do is you're gonna take 5 over 60 on the calculator. You're gonna change from 5 minutes into hours. So 5 divided by 60, you're gonna get 0.083333. Now you are gonna keep this and you can put it as answer. All right. And then on the paper, you can write y minus y over x minus x. You will get 72 minus 0 over answer on the calculator minus 0. So if you put it, it's going to be 72 minus 0 over answer minus 0. And you are going to get an exact answer of 864. Whereas if you rounded it, okay, you would get 867.5. So it's preferable to use the answer exactly as it is, okay? Okay, so we move on to question number 7. The roots of x squared minus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0 are given by this. If you use the calculator and you do mod 5, 3 and you place it in, you're gonna get an answer. But here they know you are gonna use the calculator and you're gonna get the answer, and they don't want you to use the calculator. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna be smart, okay? And we are gonna use the calculator, but not in the way they want us to use it. Not the way they thought we were gonna use it. Okay? So to do that, we are first gonna find the discriminant. Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. To make your life easier, use the calculator. So you're gonna do minus 2 squared. Please put it in the bracket. So minus 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 6. So minus 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 6. You put it on the calculator, you will get your discriminant is 28. Okay, now to find the roots, we know that the roots are gonna be minus b plus or minus radical discriminant over 2a. Okay, so the b is, in this case, is minus 2. So it's gonna be minus minus 2, which is gonna be 2, plus or minus radical the discriminant, which is 28, divided by 2 times a. So 2 times 1, which is 2. Now look at the format. Look at what we got. That means this over here is 28. Now, if you were to do mod 5, 3, and you put for a 1, for b minus 2, and for c minus 6, you would get what? You would get 1 plus or minus a radical 7. Now, this is not the same as this. What they did here is they didn't simplify it because they knew you were going to use the calculator and you were going to get a different answer, the simplified form of the answer. So that is why for questions like these, it's preferable to do it first of all through the long process until you get an answer based on what they need. Okay? Now for questions like these, okay, it's easy to find the answer because I believe this is in simplified form. So you can go do it on the calculator by mod 5, 3, and then you will fill in all the answers and you will get the root. Or you can find the discriminant again. So discriminant is equal to minus 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. So if you do it on the calculator, you are gonna get an answer of 56. So discriminant is 56. Then minus b plus or minus radical discriminant over 2a. Minus 8, you put it here, it becomes 8. So 8 plus or minus radical 56 over 2 times a. So 2 times 1, which is 2. You can put it on the calculator. And you are gonna get what? You are gonna get 4 plus or minus radical 14. Okay, or you could go mod 5, 3. You could put 1 minus 8 plus 2, and you will get the same answer, which is 4 plus or minus radical 14. So over here, k is 14. Moving on to question number 9. Again, this is, you can use the discriminant. So I'm just going to be using the discriminant. You can also do mod 5, 3. So I'm using the discriminant for the people who do not have the option of mod 5, 3. Okay, to find the discriminant, we are going to take b squared minus 4ac. So minus 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1. So do it on the calculator. minus 8 squared. Please put the brackets. Minus 4 times 1 times 1, you are gonna get 60. So discriminant is equal to 60. Okay, then remember minus b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. Minus 8 will be here, so it becomes minus minus 8, which is 8, plus or minus radical 60 over 2, because a is 1. Then you can put it on the calculator. If you don't have plus or minus, you can just put plus. So 8 plus radical 60 over 2, you are gonna get then 4 plus or minus radical 15. So the value of k is 15. Okay, so 15. Moving on to question number 10. Okay, the shaded area in the diagram below represents a road of uniform width x meters around the park. The area of the road is required to be 800 meters squared. So, first thing we know is that we have a park of area 40 by 30, which is 1,200. Okay? Now they need us to find what? They need us to find, they need the road, the area of the road to be 800 meters, or 800 meters squared. So very simply, we know that the total area minus the area of the park, so minus area of park, is equal to road area. Okay? So to find the total area, we are going to take into consideration, because it is uniform, we are going to take into consideration both dimensions. So it's going to be, you can take it also like this, understand it like this. So this is x and this is x. So this in total is going to be 2x. Okay? So the total area is going to be 40 plus 2x times 30 plus 2x minus the area of the park, which is 40 times 30, which is 1,200, is equal to the area of the road, which is 800 meters squared. Okay, so after solving it, you are gonna get 4x squared plus 140x plus 1,200 minus 1,200 is equal to 800. These will go away, and you bring this to the other side. So you are gonna get 4x squared plus 140 minus 800 is equal to 0. Now divide all sides, not both sides, all sides by 4, or divide everything by 4, and you're gonna get x squared plus 35x minus 200. And as you can see, the value of x is then 35. So we move on to question number 11. Here again, we can find the discriminant, or we can do the mod 5(3) on the calculator. So if you do the discriminant, it's gonna be minus 21 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 11. So if you do it on your calculator, you are gonna get that discriminant is 485. So you are gonna take this. Okay, it's gonna be minus b plus or minus radical 485 over 2a. So minus 21, so plus 21 plus or minus radical 485 over 2. Check on the calculator if you can simplify it. So 21 plus radical 485 divided by 2. You cannot simplify it, it will just give you the same answer back. So the value of b under the radical is 485. Moving on to question number 12 here. The sum is usually minus b over a, and the product is usually c over a. So to find the sum, you're going to do minus b, which is minus 39, which gives us 39, over a, which is 3. And the product is going to be c, which is 18, over a, which is 3. So 39 divided by 3 is 13, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So here is 13, and here is 6. Moving on to question number 13. Okay, this question is a very nice question. So we have, let me draw it here, from a point x, okay, to a point y, there is a bearing of 210 degrees. Usually, I prefer not to do it like this. I instead prefer to do 360 minus 210, which is 150. So you will take it like this to be 150 degrees. They said that the distance from X to Y is 2,500 meters. They need the distance that the car travels west. So west is in this direction, north, east, south, west. Okay, so this over here is gonna be 90 degrees because it's gonna be west, which is a straight line. So to find the value of this angle, it's gonna be 150 minus 90, which is then 60 degrees. So connected like this, they need what? They need the distance, which is this value over here. Okay? They need us to find it, okay? Because it's due west. Very simply, we have 60 over here. We have the hypotenuse because this is 90 degrees, and we need to find the adjacent. Very simply, based on the TOA, okay? We're going to be using cosine because we have the adjacent and hypotenuse, okay? So cosine of the angle 60 is equal to adjacent over 2,500. So then multiply together, adjacent is equal to cosine 60 times 2,500. If you do it on your calculator, you are gonna get an answer of 1,250 meters. So it is 1,250 meters. Moving on to question number 14. Okay, this one is a bit tricky. In the diagram above, the bearing of B from A is 66 degrees. So they said the bearing from B to A. So this over here is B, this over here is A. This is an angle of 66 degrees, so this is the bearing. But now they are asking us for what? They are asking us for the bearing from A all the way to B. So very simply, what does it mean, the bearing from B to A? It's basically the angle made from the north to the point A, which is 66 degrees. But now, however, they are looking for what? They are looking for the bearing from B to A. We can do this in many ways, but personally how I would do it is, because this is two parallel lines, okay, and they make a U shape, that means these two are supplementary. So this angle over here is equal to 180 minus 66, which is 114 degrees. But here there is a slight, something that makes you confused. Because if you pay attention, originally it was going in which direction? In the clockwise direction. But here in this case, it's going in the opposite direction, in the counterclockwise direction. And we do not need it in the counterclockwise direction. Actually, we need it in the clockwise direction. So to get it in the clockwise direction, we are going to do 360 degrees minus the angle that we got, which is 114 degrees. So if you do it on your calculator, you are gonna get an answer of 246. So over here, the answer is 246 degrees. Moving on to question number 15. Moving on to question number 15. From the top of a cliff, the angle of depression of a boat at sea is 42 degrees. So this is our cliff over here, okay? And the angle of depression looks like this. It's going down. Okay? So this angle of depression over here is gonna be 42 degrees. I think I drew it in the opposite way. It's supposed to be like this. So this is the cliff, okay? And from the cliff to the boat, okay, there is an angle of depression of 42 degrees. All right, so however way I drew it, it's still correct. Okay, and we are given that the horizontal distance of the boat, from the boat to the bottom of the cliff, so this distance over here, is 100 meters. They need us to find the value of what? They need us to find the value or the height of the cliff. Okay, very simply, we know, based on the TOA, that we have an angle, we are given the adjacent and we need to find the opposite, so we are going to use tangent of this angle. So tangent of angle 90 degrees, oh sorry, not 90 degrees, my bad, tangent of angle 42 degrees, which is 0.90, is equal to the opposite, which is cliff height, over the adjacent, which is 100. So you are gonna cross multiply. You are gonna get 100 times 0.90, and you're gonna get an answer of 90 degrees. So the height of the cliff, no, oh my goodness, 90 meters, not 90 degrees. I apologize. Okay, so we move on to question number 16. This question is a really nice question. So look how I solved it. Okay, they need us to find the value of z, given that y is 100. Very simply, first thing I did was I found the value of x. Okay, so the value of x is very simply, we are gonna be using tangent of angle 40, which is 0.84. It is very simply, x over 100 is equal to 0.84, which is tangent 40. So x is equal to 100 times 0.84, which is 84. So now we have the value of x. Now here, what did I do? I added these two together. So I took z as z. I'm going to call it z. And the angle as 26. So it's going to be 26 degrees. So the tangent of 26 degrees is equal to 84 over what? Over 100 plus z. So again, I took all of this side, which is 100 plus z. I took this angle over here, which is 26, and I took the opposite of this angle, which is 84. And I'm going to be using tangent of this angle, which is 0.5. So 0.5 is equal to 84 over 100 plus z. Okay, so 100 plus z is equal to 84 over 0.5. If you do on your calculator 84 divided by 0.5, you are going to get an answer of 168. And very simply, 100 plus z is equal to 168. Subtract z is equal to 68. So very simply, the value of z is 68. Moving on to question number 17. This is a simple question. They need the bearing of P from O. Very simply, this is 90 degrees. You are going to subtract 90 from this angle over here, which is 57. So 90 minus 57, okay, you are going to get an answer of 33 degrees. Okay, moving on to question number 18. Now here they need the bearing of P from O. Very simply, the bearing of P from O, we are gonna take this angle. So to find it, we are gonna do 360 minus this angle over here, which is 133. So 360 minus 133, you are gonna get an answer of 227. So the bearing of P from O is 227 degrees. Now, last but not least, the final question. Okay, this is a nice question. They need the average speed of the train between 9:30 and 11:30 in what's the unit? Kilometers per hour. So from 9:30 till 11:30. And we know that the distance time graph will give us an average speed, which is the slope. So if we find the slope, we will find the average speed. Now they need it in kilometers per hour. So the difference between 9:30 and 11:30 is 2 hours. And the height, or the y in this case, the difference is 300 minus 150, which is 150. So to find the value of the slope, it's going to be y minus y over x minus x. So 300 minus 150 over 1130 minus 90, which has a difference of 2 hours. So if you do it on your calculator, you are going to get an answer of 75 kilometers per hour. Now the average speed between 7 and 9:30, so from here till here, we're going to choose 2 points, okay? The difference between 7 and 9:30 is 2 hours, 30 minutes. So if you're going to change it all into hours, it's going to be 2.5 hours, okay? And then the difference between 150 and 0 is 150. So y minus y over x minus x is equal to 150 minus 0 over the difference in time, which was 2.5 hours. If you do it on your calculator, you will get an answer of 60. So the last answer is then 60. So I finished the quiz. Let me submit and hopefully there are no mistakes. Here it seems. Okay guys, so I only did a small typing mistake here. It's not, I wrote before 102,000. I didn't mean to write this. Actually, the answer is 10,200. Okay, I apologize for this mistake. It was just a typing mistake. And anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.